afternoon. It's Friday, July 17. I'm Mai Rodriguez for your Midday Report. We'll be giving you the story shaping the nation at this hour. In the headlines, blatantly demeaning, dehumanizing, and racist. Filipino officials slammed China over a video depicting Filipinos as monkeys and mocking the 2016 South China Sea arbitral ruling. Justice for a rider's final journey. The family of a slain Move It rider demands accountability as ride-hailing platforms are urged to strengthen driver and passenger safety. A jumbo oil price hike next week. Diesel prices may go up by as much as 10 pesos amid heightened tensions in the Middle East. And Filipino creators take the global spotlight. Bretman and Niana Guerrero make it to the TIME100 Creators list. We begin with a story of a father, a provider, and a rider whose life was cut short on the job. Early this week, Fabio Norberte was stabbed to death by his passenger, drawing outrage and calls for justice. Now, support is pouring in from several lawmakers. Hannah T joins us for the details. Hannah, you're joining us from Fabio's wake. What is the latest on this case?
Yes, Mai, the remains of slain Move It rider Fabio Norberte Jr. have now been brought home to his family here in Santo Niño, Quezon City, as they continue to seek justice for his killing. Norberte was fatally stabbed with an ice pick and robbed by a passenger in Barangay 20, Caloocan City before dawn on July 14. CCTV footage showed the suspect, identified as 43-year-old Jeffrey Katakutan, attacking the rider just after getting off the motorcycle. Despite suffering multiple stab wounds, Norberte was still able to run from his attacker before he later died. The suspect then allegedly fled using the victim's motorcycle. Police said Katakutan is now in custody and is facing robbery with homicide and carnapping cases in Caloocan, on top of a robbery case filed in Malabon. Authorities also said the suspect had been involved in a similar case before, but assured the victim's family that the new charges recommended against him are non-bailable. My Senator Rafi Tulfo turned over 500,000 pesos from his personal funds to Norberte's family. Move It, for its part, said the victim is covered by a 500,000 peso insurance benefit and that the company will also provide an additional 500,000 pesos in cash assistance while the insurance claim is being processed. Meanwhile, my Senator J.V. Ejercito, who is also a motorcycle rider, condemned the killing, saying he understands the daily risks riders face just to provide for their families, and called the attack both heartbreaking and infuriating. Senator Robin Padilla personally visited the family of Norberte and renewed his call to reinstate the death penalty for heinous crimes. Padilla said the brutal killing of the rider reinforced his belief that offenders who show complete disregard for human life should face the harshest penalties under the law. He also called on authorities to ensure that everyone responsible is held accountable, saying justice for Fabio is also justice for every Filipino who earns an honest living. Mai.
Hannah, can you tell us more about his family? I believe naulila ang anak niya.
Yes, Mai, naiwan ni Fabio yung kanyang 4-year-old na anak na merong autism. Actually, yung mas masakit pa rito, Mai, ayon dun sa ina ni Fabio, pumanaw na yung asawa rin ni Fabio nung 1 month old pa lang yung kanilang anak, kaya matagal na raw si Fabio na lang yung nag-aalaga doon sa bata. At nag-iipon sana siya ng pera at yung pangarap niya kasing makapag-abroad para mapagamot yung kanyang anak at masuportahan nga dahil meron itong autism. Mai?
Kamusta ang mga magulang ni Fabio? Kasi sila na ang mag-aalaga nitong naulilang anak.
May nandito yung nanay ni Fabio, no? Pero yung asawa kasi ni Nanay Carmelita ay meron namang pneumonia and he's actually 78 years old. At although hindi pa natin fully nakakausap si tatay, pero galing kasi siya sa ospital at pinilit lang niya na makapunta dito sa wake nga ni Fabio dahil this is also the first time in a while na nakita niya yung kanyang anak. Mai?
Hana, you mentioned, dito naman tayo sa suspect, you mentioned na may similar case na rin pala itong suspect. Ano yung kasong ito? Can you give us a background?
My another motorcycle taxi rider named John Rick told Senator Raffy Tulfo na he was also robbed and stabbed by the same suspect who pretended na wala raw siyang cellphone to book a ride through the app at sinabi na meron daw itong emergency. Kalauna naman may itong separate or isa pang taxi rider, motorcycle taxi rider na ito ay nakasurvive pero nawala niya rin yung motorsiklo niya na only source of income at sinabi naman itong si Senator Raffy Tulfo na he would personally buy this victim a brand new motorcycle. Mai?
Thank you. Hana T. reporting to us from the wake of Fabio Norberto in Quezon City. Amid growing safety concerns following the killing of two motorcycle taxi riders, the PNP is urging riders to report threats immediately and call 911 at the first sign of danger. They're also strengthening coordination with ride-hailing companies to improve safety measures. Lade Cabagani joins us from Camp Crame. Lade, go ahead.
Yes, Mar, the PNP is urging motorcycle taxi riders to immediately call 911 if they feel their safety is threatened. PNP Chief General Sem Melencio Nartatas Jr. said riders should not hesitate to report any threat, suspicious activities, or possible danger to authorities. He said early reporting will allow police to respond quickly and help prevent possible attacks. The PNP said it is strengthening security measures following the killing of two motorcycle taxi riders in Cavite and Caloocan City. Police said the suspects in both cases have already been arrested, while authorities continue to boost police visibility and safety measures for riders. That's the latest update here from Camp Crame. Back to you, Mai.
Lade, these recent attacks have raised fears among riders and passengers. Ano ba ang mga specific measures that the PNP is implementing to prevent similar incidents from happening again? And ano yung mga reminders para sa publiko? What should the public keep in mind when using these ride-hailing apps?
Yes, Mai, sinabi nga ng PNP na nakikipagtulungan na ito sa ride-hailing companies as well as coordinating with local government units and other partners para mas mapatatag pa yung security measures at ma-prevent yung similar attacks. Yung PNP rin ay urging everyone to stay alert and immediately report any suspicious activities. Gamitin daw lagi ang 911 emergency hotline. Inassure din ng PNP na yung mga responsible will be held accountable under the law. Mai?
Thank you, Lade Cabagani, reporting from Camp Crame. In other news, a strong statement from the Defense Department condemning a social media post by Chinese state media, China Daily, that depicted Filipinos as monkeys. Defense Secretary Gibot Chodoro calls it racist propaganda amid tensions in the West Philippine Sea. He says the post mocks the 2016 arbitral ruling and reflects China's failure to defend its maritime claims through international law. The Foreign Affairs Department also demanded that China Daily remove the AI-generated video, describing it as racist, dehumanizing, and unacceptable. The DFA urged China to stop publishing content that undermines dignity, respect, and truth in public discourse. Both agencies maintain that disagreements over the South China Sea should never be used to justify racist or dehumanizing portrayals of the Filipino people. Some senators also slammed the China Daily Post, calling the AI-generated video racist, insulting, and unacceptable. Senator Francis Kiko Pangilinan says the content was not fit for any media organization, especially one representing a country through state-run media. He called on the Chinese government to order the removal of the video, issue a public apology, and hold those responsible accountable. Senator Ping Lacson, meanwhile, says that if Filipinos are being called monkeys, one should also look at the behavior and character of those making such claims. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. says his three-day visit to Singapore strengthened bilateral ties and secured investment commitments for the Philippines. The president met with Singapore Prime Minister Lawrence Wong, business executives and regional investors to discuss cooperation in trade, artificial intelligence, digital infrastructure, and healthcare.
The discussions focused on deepening cooperation in digital technology, telecommunications, data centers, AI, and healthcare, key sectors that will enhance the country's innovation ecosystem, improve essential services, and support long-term inclusive economic growth. I highlighted the Philippines' position as a strategic investment destination in Southeast Asia, supported by a growing digital economy, a skilled workforce, and a strong reform agenda that continues to attract high-value technology-driven investments from trusted partners such as Singapore.
Marcos also cited continued investment commitments from Singtel Group and ABC Impact, which are expected to strengthen the country's digital infrastructure, expand healthcare services, and create jobs.
As a newly designated upper-middle-income country with solid macroeconomic fundamentals, the Philippines offers a secure, transparent, and stable environment for businesses to thrive.
The president says the visit reaffirmed Singaporean investors' confidence in the Philippine economy and the country's push to become an innovation-driven investment destination. The next battlefront in the impeachment trial is set to focus on confidential funds, an issue expected to trigger more heated debates. The prosecution is now preparing its witnesses as it builds its case against Vice President Sara Duterte. Kumuha tayo ng detalye mula kay Isaiah Mirafuentes ng Abante. Isaiah, go ahead.
Yes, may more exciting are coming in impeachment court dahil ngayon inaasahan na mas magiging mainit ang mga diskusyon. Posible kasi sa susunod na linggo ay usad ng pinakamahabang articles of impeachment, ang confidential funds. Tatlo ang naunang hiniling ng prosekusyon ay pasabina para sa pagsisimula ng talakayan kaugnay sa confidential funds. Sila ay sina Marivic Pareha, Legislative Archives Museum Management Service of the House of Representatives, at dalawang land bank employees na sina Violeta Constantino at Ninita Camposano. Ang Article 1 o ang confidential funds ang may pinakamaraming trial dates. Paliwanag ni Attorney Benjamin Tolosa Jr., spokesperson ng prosecution. Dalawang departamento kasi ang saklaw nito, ang pagiging Vice Presidente ni VP Sara at ang pagiging kalihim niya ng DepEd noong 2022. Subalit nangako naman Mai ang prosekusyon na sisikapin nilang mapabilis ang pagtalakay dito at paiksiin. Ang kanila raw na magiging basihan ay kung mapatunayan na ng mga unang testigo ang mga ebidensya laban kay VP Sara. Maliban nga dyan, Mai, isa rin daw sa posibleng mapag-usapan ng House Prosecution Panel ay ang pagbabawas ng articles of impeachment. Yan ay kung makikita nilang sapat na at mabibigat na ang mga unang articles of impeachment na kanilang nailatag. Mai.
Isaiah, so kung ito ang pinakamahaba, ito rin ba ang pinakamabigat na article?
May ang sinasabi na sa atin ng prosecution ay itong apat daw na articles of impeachment ay naniniwala sila ay sapat na raw to convict the Vice President. Ang sinasabi nila walang pinakamabigat dahil lahat daw na apat na ito ay mabibigat na basihan para nga mapatalsik na si VP Sara. Pero sinasabi sa atin may ng House Prosecution Panel, itong ang mga ebidensya para sa confidential funds kasi ay base sa mga dokumento, base sa mga bank records, sa mga naging records ng confidential funds kung paano ito nagamit. So, technically raw, mukhang magiging mas mahaba nga raw dahil nga mabusisi ang magiging paglilitis dito. Mai.
Maraming salamat, Isaiah Mirafuentes, nag-uulat mula sa Senado. House Prosecutor Joel Chua says the NBI's reinvestigation into alleged anomalies in the 2019 SEA Games projects should be viewed separately from the Vice President's impeachment trial. The probe covers projects including the new Clark City Sports Complex in Tarlac, which were built for the 2019 Games. Senator Judge Alan Peter Cayetano, who led the Philippine SEA Games Organizing Committee, earlier claimed that the investigation could be an attempt to intimidate him while he sits as a senator judge. On BNC's On Point, Chua said he understands the concerns raised by the Cayetanos, but maintained that the NBI has the authority to pursue the investigation.
Wala naman ako nakikitang connection. But then again, syempre, with all due respect sa ating mga senator judges na magkapatid na Cayetano, syempre, nandoon yung kanilang agam-agam, no? So, at hindi mo rin naman masisisi silang dalawa. But then again, kung ang tanong ay ito ba ay dapat gawin ng NBI, ako wala naman ako nakikita na dahilan para hindi naman nila gawin yan. In fact, sa amin nga, may mga clamor din na imbestigahan naman yung mga parmali, which is matagal nang naging issue, di ba? Pero sa ngayon, dito muna tayo na nakapokus. Although hindi ko nakikita pa yung connection nitong investigasyon kay Senator Cayetano dito sa impeachment. Dahil kami, ang focus namin dito lang muna sa impeachment.
Okay. I think ang lumalabas po na punto nila ay ang dami pa nating ibang problema. Bakit biglang? I think it's more the timing. The timing and...
Siguro mas maganda ang tanungin dyan si NBI Director.
NBI Director Melvin Matibag earlier denied claims that the probe into the alleged anomalies is politically motivated. Matibag says the agency is simply following the evidence wherever it may lead. Up next, a major government asset changes hands as the atrium of Makati sells for 1 billion pesos. What does this sale mean for privatization efforts? The details when Midday Report returns. Stay with us. Bayan President Renato Reyes urges for all airing officials involved in the flood control scandal to be held accountable. Speaking on BNC's At the Forefront, Reyes questioned why officials allied with the Marcos administration have yet to be charged in connection with the scandal. Former Public Works Secretary Manuel Bonoan has been turned into a state witness subject to the approval of the Sandigan Bayan.
Number one, no, yung panawagan ng iba't ibang grupo. From last year pa, lahat ng sangkot dapat managot. So hindi pwedeng ang kakasuhan mo lang yung mga kalaban mo sa politika. Pati yung mga kakampi mo, yung sarili mong mga tauhan, yung mga former cabinet secretaries, kailangan kinakasuhan mo din yan. Pero hindi yan nakikita.
Reyes also said the Marcos administration did not fully utilize the emergency powers it had requested to address rising oil prices.
Wala pa tayo naranasan na ganito kataas na presyo ng gasolina, yung epekto nito sa public transport natin, yung displacement ng mga manggagawa. No? And ang nakita natin na naging response, no, was to ask for emergency powers that they did not really use to the fullest, no, to reject any suggestion that taxes should be removed. No?
Where do we draw the line between stopping false information and protecting free speech? That question is now at the center of a growing debate after the House of Representatives approved on final reading House Bill number 9465, also known as the Digital Media Anti-False Information Act. Let's go to Micah Razon. Micah, what are the concerns on this measure?
During a discussion organized by the Council for People's Development and Governance, or CPDG, the group expressed strong opposition to Bill 9465, or the Digital Media Anti-False Information Act, warning that it could threaten civic space and freedom of expression. According to CPDG, the bill is being pushed through without enough consultation with stakeholders and could put human rights advocacy work at risk. The group also raised concern over the proposed role of the DICT, arguing that placing the government at the center of determining what counts as truth could lead to overreach.
In summary, kung ano ang House Bill 9465, nagpapalaganap ito ng isang mekanismo na state-directed and platform-enforced censorship. So, state-directed dahil ang gobyerno magdedetermine kung ano yung katotohanan. And platform-enforced kasi yung mga platforms, meron silang, dinedeputize sila kumbaga ng gobyerno, no, para i-regulate yung mga digital spaces.
The group also warned that the proposed measure could have serious implications on protected speech.
Parang sinasabi nila, bawal kayong mag-publish ng content na tungkol sa military operations and sa government operations. So, naka-include din kasi, naka-include siya dito. So, overreaching siya sa mga protected forms of speech.
Apart from their concerns over the bill's provisions, CPTG also raised alarm over the possible penalties, including fines, that may be imposed for violations. The group claimed the measure could be used to silence critics, journalists, and members of the public, and could further restrict the work of media organizations. Back to you, Mai.
Micah, given these concerns, what do they want to see before this bill moves forward?
Yes, Mai. Ayon sa CPDG, kung maipapasa na yung mentioned bill, it could censor the contents na ilalabas ng media. At kasama raw roon na hindi na pwedeng magbalita ng military operations like EDCA, sabi nila yan. At prone daw iyan para hindi lumabas yung abuses na meron sa mga camp. At yung government na daw kasi yung mag-a-assess kung ano ang totoo sa hindi. Kumbaga, ang pagbabasehan na lang daw ng katotohanan ay yung statement mula sa government agencies at mababaliwala na yung mga on-ground reports. Sabi rin ni former Anak Pawis Rep. Ariel Casilaw, baka ang gusto ng pamahalaan ay maging mouthpiece na lang ng Malacanang ang media na kung saan puro pabor na lang sa kanila yung malalabas na balita. Mai?
Maraming salamat, Micah Razon. Gabriela Party List Representative Sara Elago is calling for the removal of the 12% value-added tax on system loss charges. On BNC's memo, Elago says consumers are being charged VAT on system losses, electricity lost during transmission and distribution that they did not actually use. She also called for the removal of the system loss charge itself. Elago is also pushing for a House inquiry into rising electricity rates and other charges passed on to consumers. The fight for higher wages is far from over. Workers are challenging the latest pay adjustment, saying it does not match the reality of rising prices and the daily struggle to make ends meet. Chad Gatchalian joins us from the Dole office. Chad, go ahead.
My labor group filed an appeal before the National Wages and Productivity Commission this morning, seeking a 505 peso wage increase on top of the prevailing minimum wage in Metro Manila. This is instead of the 85 peso wage hike announced by the Labor Department and approved by the NCR Wage Board. Shortly after they filed appeal, the group staged a protest in front of the Dole office in Intramuros, Manila. They stressed that the 85 peso increase set to be implemented in two tranches starting July 25 and January next year remains inadequate. In their appeal, the groups argued that previous price shocks, particularly from fuel and other basic commodities, have further reduced workers' purchasing power, making a higher wage increase necessary. Workers also called for a national livable minimum wage, saying that Filipinos, especially those in the provinces, continue to be affected by high inflation. Kilusang Mayo Uno Secretary Mary Ann Castillo urged Labor Secretary Francis Tolentino not to repeat what the group described as the mistakes and insensitivity of previous Dolly secretaries. The groups also said they have already lost hope that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. would listen to their labor-related appeals.
Hindi kaila at hindi mo masabi, Mr. Tolentino, na wala kang alam na ang buhay ng mga manggagawa sa buong Pilipinas ay hikahos, wala nang ikabubuhay, wala nang ikakasustento sa kanilang mga anak at pamilya habang sila ay nagtatrabaho. Samantala kayo, nandyan lang sa aircon.
The one-hour protest ended at around 11 a.m. this morning. The group said they are preparing for a bigger protest on the day of PBBM coming State of the Nation address. Mai?
Shed, can you walk us through the details of their appeal and beyond the amount that they're seeking? What other grounds and concerns are being raised?
Yes, Mai. Groups argued that the NCR wage court allegedly committed grave abuse of discretion by fracturing or dividing the 85 peso increase in two tranches. 60 pesos on starting July 25th and the additional 25 pesos on January 2027. With this, since the second tranche will be effective next year, groups said this triggers the one-year prohibition rule in filing new petitions for wage increase in 2027. They said it paralyzes the labor sector's immediate possible reliefs for the whole year of 2027. As of this report, Dolly has yet to react on the matter. Back to you, Mai.
Thank you, Chad Gatchalian, reporting from the Dole office. Motorists may face another big hit at the pumps, with fuel prices expected to rise by as much as 10 pesos next week. Che Sulit joins us now. Che, tell us more about the projected increase.
Mai, that's right. Motorists may face another round of sharp fuel price increases next week, based on the first 4 trading days of the Mina Flat Singapore or MOPS and foreign exchange averages from July 13 to 16. The following pump prices adjustments are projected. Diesel may go up by 9 pesos and 50 centavos to 10 pesos and 50 centavos per liter. Gasoline may increase by 3 pesos and 50 centavos to 4 pesos and 50 centavos per liter. Global oil prices remain elevated as geopolitical tensions between the United States and Iran raise fears of supply disruptions. The risk premium in the oil market rose after Iran attacked commercial ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz outside its approved shipping route. These prompted retaliatory U.S. strikes on Iranian military targets. Prices were also pushed higher as fewer ships passed through the strait, fuel supplies tightened, and the U.S. blocked vessels traveling to and from Iranian ports. Diesel and other middle distillate prices also posted steep gains due to stronger seasonal demand and tighter near-term supply. The drop in Russian diesel exports also added pressure, following damage to energy infrastructure caused by intensifying Ukrainian drone attacks. Gasoline prices, meanwhile, were supported by renewed U.S.-Iran tensions and concerns over the availability of crude oil and refined products during the peak demand season. The estimates may still change after the final trading day of the week. Oil companies are expected to announce their official pump price adjustments on Monday, ahead of their implementation on Tuesday, July 21. Back to you, Mai.
Che, what about power supply? Any developments on the country's grids that we should know?
Mai, while fuel prices are expected to rise, the main power development to watch for is the Visayas grid. Today, the grid will be put under yellow alert again from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Several large coal plants remain offline, resulting in tighter power reserves.
The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines previously said these outages are beyond the grid operator's control because they involve generation companies that also supply ancillary services. Authorities are expecting the situation to stabilize once the affected plants resume operations by August. Back to you, Mai.
Thank you, Chesulit, reporting. The Department of Finance has sold a part of the atrium of Makati, a government-owned idle asset, for 1 billion pesos. The sale covered the building's 5th floor with 24 condominium units and 21 parking slots. The buyer, San Pedro Realty Development Corporation, is consolidating ownership of the building. The price was more than double the property's appraised value of nearly 450 million pesos. The sale raises the government's privatization revenues to 1.87 billion pesos in the first half of the year. Up next, a century-old pipe burst in West Hollywood, flooding streets and creating a massive sinkhole along Sunset Boulevard. That and more news across the world, plus sports headlines when Midday Report returns. The United States launched a new wave of airstrikes against Iran for the 6th straight night. The U.S. military says the strikes reportedly targeted areas in the southern Iranian port city of Bandar Abbas. The attacks caused power outages, damaged a communications tower, and hit a residential area. At least 7 people were injured, and hospitals are treating the wounded. The latest strikes come despite a mid-June U.S.-Iran agreement that was meant to stop fighting and start peace talks. Heavy smoke from hundreds of wildfires in Canada blankets parts of the Midwest and northeastern United States. What may look like a filter in this footage is actually a thick orange haze over New York City. Hazardous air quality was reported in many U.S. states, with Detroit recording the worst air quality in the world on Thursday. People are urged to remain indoors, especially those with heart or lung conditions.
Definitely could make the tourists less, interested in coming here because they see the smoke and they may not know what it is. So the tourists may make them scared. I'm not too sure what they may think. I don't feel it's bad for breathing, for air quality, something that has issues health-related, and I can say for them. So I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure how people may, react seeing the air looking like this, how the sky having different colors. Maybe people, they can feel some type of way.
Who would have thought that there would be flooding in Hollywood? Well, that's exactly what happened after a century-old water pipe burst, flooding streets and disrupting traffic. This caused a sinkhole, cracked roads, and left some buses in West Hollywood partially submerged. The cause remains unknown, but repairs are underway. Officials say the incident highlights the need to upgrade aging infrastructure. The shirt of Pele in the 1958 World Cup final sells for $4.9 million, becoming his most valuable item ever auctioned. The blue Brazil number 10 shirt was worn by the 17-year-old Pele during Brazil's first World Cup title win. He scored twice against Sweden, becoming the youngest player to score in a World Cup final. The Sotheby's sale made the shirt the second most expensive football shirt ever sold at auction, behind Diego Maradona's Hand of God shirt that sold at $9.3 million. Converge proves its depth as its local players stepped up to secure a close win over Terra Firma, despite a quiet game from import Jalen Hudson. Zeus Valdez of Abante has the story.
Converge may have escaped Terra Firma by just 2 points, but the biggest takeaway wasn't Jalen Honson's off night. It was the Fiver Xers' ability to win without their import carrying the offense. After dominating in his conference debut, Hodson was limited to just 2 points as Terra Firma's defense took away his usual scoring opportunities. Head coach Delta Pineda admitted his import never found his rhythm but insisted there's no reason to overreact.
Maybe yung import namin right now, hindi makuha yung ano niya, yung rhythm niya for this game. So, yun ang nawawala sa amin yung score nitong import namin right now for this game.
Despite the quiet night, Pineda said Hodson has already shown what he can do and deserves the team's trust.
Bigyan pa ho natin pagkakataon. Last game naman ho, nag-perform na rin naman yung import natin. So maybe this game lang talagang siguro po nanibago.
For Hodson, the credit belonged to Terra Firma. The former TNT import said the Jeep were well prepared for converged sets, forcing him to contribute in other ways instead of forcing his offense.
I got to give credit to that team. They played really well. They were ready for our scheme. They were ready for our plays. And I felt this game, it was more of a assist game, more of a contributing game. So even some of the passes, I got the hockey assist. But I got to give credit to the Nickler.
With Hodson kept in check, the Fiver Xers local core took over. Justin Arana exploded for a conference-high 31 points and 10 rebounds. Juan Gomez de Leaño added 19, while Justin Baltazar preserved the win with a game-saving block on Alvin Mariano's potential game-tying layup. The performance proved Converge can rely on multiple contributors when needed. Hodson also dismissed the idea that he is still adjusting to his role, saying the Fiver Xers deep rotation means every player has to sacrifice for the good of the team.
And my shot attempts are kind of low right now, so it's been tougher. But it's not about me; it's about the team. We got the win today, so I'm happy with that.
With a 2-0 start, Pineda said there will be no changes to the team's approach as they prepare for their next game. Converge now sets its sight on Macau, hoping to extend its unbeaten run while expecting Jalen Hodson to quickly rediscover the scoring form that made him one of PBA's most dangerous imports. Zeus Valdez, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
The Philippine men's rugby union team stays on course for a title repeat after cruising past Singapore in the Union's Cup semifinals. Sheila Salaysay has more on the game and their dominant second half display.
The Philippine men's rugby team is just one win away from defending their crown after booking a return trip to the Union's Cup final. The defending champions overpowered Singapore with a dominant second half display to keep their title hopes alive. The Volcanoes advanced the Union's Cup 2026 final after defeating Singapore 33-10 at the NK Rafa pitch in Thailand. It was a closely fought contest early on, with the Volcanoes holding a narrow lead at halftime. However, the defending champions came out firing in the second half, shutting down Singapore's attack while capitalizing on scoring opportunities to pull away. Vince Young, Ned Stevenson, Judd Greenhall, and Michael Blatis all scored tries for the Philippines. Blatis delivered one of the game's biggest highlights with a coast-to-coast sprint that showcased the Volcanoes' pace and attacking flair. Ryan Curtis also made his presence felt, converting key kicks, including a difficult touchline conversion that helped the Philippines build an unassailable lead. Several Filipino standouts also played key roles in the victory, including Harvey Dent, Jovan Masalunga, Fausto Ismendi, Ardiel Lapid, and J.M. Cadenas, who continued their strong form after helping the Barbarian side defeat Laos earlier in the tournament. The Volcanoes opened their title defense with a dominant rout of Laos before eliminating Singapore to secure another finals appearance. The Philippines will now face a tournament newcomers Malaysia in the Union's Cup 2026 final on Saturday, July 18 at 5 p.m. Philippine time at Nonthaburi Stadium in Thailand. The championship match marks the Volcanoes' second straight Unions Cup final appearance after lifting the title in the previous edition, with a victory over Thailand as they now aim for back-to-back championships. Sheila Salaysay, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Up next is Twice's Gio entering her CEO era. The K-pop star is reportedly planning to launch her own company. That and more entertainment stories when Midday Report returns. King Charles serves up a royal toast with a cheeky joke after England's World Cup heartbreak. Here's his reaction to the big semi-final loss to Argentina.
Maybe it's a good day to drown a few sorrows.
Charles and Queen Camilla later pulled a pint, unveiled a plaque, and are marking the brewery's 250th anniversary and met with local charities and market vendors. Call it a big win for Pinoy creators on the world stage. Bretman and Niana Guerrero have landed on Times' 2026 TIME100 Creators list, celebrating the biggest names shaping digital culture. The pair were honored as titans, joining an elite group of global content powerhouses. Time spotlighted Bretman's glow-up from beauty creator to lifestyle star, while Niana continues to make waves as the Philippines' most followed creator on TikTok. Another reminder that Filipino creativity reaches far beyond the feed. A new chapter may be unfolding for Twice's Gio. The group's leader is reportedly stepping away from JYP Entertainment to build a new home for her solo activities. And she may not be the only one. Reports suggest other members could also be making career moves after more than 2 decades with the label. But one says of nothing to worry about, Gio's Twice story is far from over, as she's expected to continue group activities while exploring her solo path. The news comes as Twice takes a well-earned break after wrapping their successful This Is For World Tour. Politics can be serious business, but who says making sense of it has to be boring? BNC's new public affairs show, What's the Point?, is putting a fresh spin on the issues as Deputy Speaker Ronnie Puno and comedian Alex Calleja team up to break down the stories behind the headlines with a little humor on the side. On BNC's The Spokes, Calleja joked that politicians have become his toughest competition, with political drama sometimes delivering punchlines of its own.
Ba't mo ba pala tinanggap bilang co-host ni Congressman Ronnie Puno sa What's the Point?
Pera-pera lang. Hindi.
Tama.
Hindi.
Alam mo, buti kaya mo sabihin yan.
Hindi.
Ikaw, idea mo.
Hindi, comedian ako eh.
Idea mo ba yun?
Pwede ka naman magsabi ng joke. What's the point? Every Tuesday, 8 to 9 p.m. with Kong Ronnie Puno. Ang tawag sa kanya, Tito Ron.
Tito Ron.
Kasi ang turon, di ba malaman yan, may saging, kaya Tito Ron. So, yan. Kung gusto nyo maintindihan, hindi kami after the headlines, after kami kung ano ba talaga yung laman ng headlines.
Beyond the jokes, the show aims to help viewers understand the bigger picture behind the issues that shape the country. Catch What's the Point? That's Tuesdays at 8, only here on BNC. That's the Midday Report. I'm Mai Rodriguez. See you again on Monday at 1 p.m. Happy weekend. Stay informed and stay safe.